13-year pro and MLS Cup Champion Quincy, aka The Chip Amarikwa, presents the Perfect Soccer Podcast, where your host goes one-on-one to get to know your favorite and aspiring pro players and coaches both on and off the pitch. Today's episode is sponsored by the Perfect Soccer Ball. Buy 10 Perfect Soccer Balls for only $100. This special is now available for purchase at perfectsoccerskills.com/ball. Today's episode is also sponsored by the Perfect Soccer Uniform. Custom designed jerseys and full uniforms starting from $25. Place your order for purchase at perfectsoccerskills.com/uniform. If you have any special requests or know someone perfect to be a guest on our podcast, please send us an email to contact@perfectsoccerskills.com. Thanks, and we hope you enjoy today's episode.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Perfect Soccer Podcast. Our special guest today is Josh Williams. Josh, how's it going?
It's going well, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. Let's just dive right into the soccer tournament. You were on the Sneaky Fox team. What was your overall experience with it?
Man, I wasn't that excited about it, to be honest, at first. When I first signed up for it, 'cause I thought it'd be a lot more relaxed. And then, like a few weeks leading up to the tournament, things started picking up. The coaches start texting us with pump up speeches, making sure we're fit and all that. So I was like, man, I don't know if I want to put my body through this again after I just got done with a 14-year career. But once we showed up, actually Quincy kind of talked us off the ledge because we were all just concerned about fitness levels and all that. And he said, just relax. You guys, you've been here before. You played in much bigger games, all of that. So just relax, have fun with it. So once we got there, we realized how big it was, how cool the setup was. And then overall, I was just completely blown away by how well run it was. The support, the fans that were there, the media coverage. I think Pat McAfee, with his podcast and all that, he kind of blew it up. So I feel like it became this big deal, and I had people all over the country, texting me saying they were watching games and all that. So I think it went to something that I had a little regret signing up for, and it turned into one of the coolest things I've done this year. I think it was, I have nothing but good things to say about it. I think it's going to be huge going forward.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, that's awesome that you felt like that, and then it came out even better than you
Absolutely. Yeah, it was awesome.
Let's just go back in time a little bit. What's your first memory of playing soccer?
First memory would be having my dad, who'd never played soccer growing up, and another coach who never played soccer growing up. I think I was 4. My brother was 5. And we played on the same travel team back in West Akron, Ohio. So just like chasing the ball around, like you see the young kids do, everybody like a little swarm of bees, everybody chasing the ball. I remember my dad on the sidelines. Obviously nothing too structured, but just being excited to be on the same team with my brother. It was the first time I'd ever been a part of a team. So just to have him there, and then just having fun with it. I remember being pretty good as a young kid, like scoring a lot. So I think that was kind of the exciting part that kept drawing me back. But just being around, having my dad as a coach, and like I said, being alongside my brother, being able to play at such a young age, it was just such a fun time.
Yeah, no, definitely. Were you still in high school when LeBron was there?
Yeah. I was a freshman when he was a senior.
Oh, that's great. So did you knew about him and stuff, obviously?
Oh yeah. I actually remember going. I went to a friend's birthday party, and it was a community center called the Jewish Center, and he was playing basketball there, and I remember we were in like the building over or something like that. But I remember my buddy's dad coming over and say there was a 6th grader dunking at the time. So obviously we were real little, and I remember my dad. Asking the name, and the guy said LeBron, and I actually didn't remember this at the time, but my dad, brought it up years later, and I remember that conversation. And obviously, a name like LeBron kind of sticks with you. So, and anytime you hear a 6th grader dunking, so actually we heard about him when he was in 6th grade. And then when he was a freshman in high school is when he was all over the papers, and obviously the rest is history from there. But I never got to play against him, but we were in the same division, and then our team got knocked out of the playoffs right before we'd have to play them. So
that's great.
But yeah, we knew about him, obviously, from a young age.
Knowing that you just said in the beginning you played a 14-year career, and now I think he's on your 19 or 20. Like how crazy is that to you? Or what does it take to even play that long? Because even I mean, obviously 14 is a lot.
Genetics, the most freakish genetics you could possibly have, but also, I think the rumor around is he spends $1 million plus on his body. I bet it's more than that now. Just a combination of genetics, an insane work ethic, an insane discipline, that I got to play on grass and run around on grass on a physical sport, but not nearly, the physicality that he deals with on a night in and night out basis. And just imagine like jumping on hardwood, carrying around 270 pounds. It blows my mind, man. And the ability he's still playing above the rim and doing all that, man. It's truly mind blowing to me how he can hang on this long and continue to just dominate.
Yeah, no, for sure. And going back to your youth career, and during high school, like what was your recruiting process to college like?
I was actually going to play baseball coming out of college. I played basketball, baseball, and soccer in high school. Quit playing club soccer my freshman year of high school because I wanted to play all three sports, and my club coach didn't allow that. So I decided to kind of just play all three of those sports with my friends. And then so I was being recruited mostly. I got recruited for all three, but baseball was probably my best sport. And I was probably going to go play D1 there. I was thinking about Kentucky, West Virginia. And then my senior year, I decided baseball was just kind of boring to me. It wasn't, it didn't hold my attention like a soccer or basketball would. And I'm only 6'1", so I didn't think basketball was the route. And then I just fell in love with soccer. I love soccer. So thankfully I had a club coach from the Cleveland area remembered me, and he actually took over at Cleveland State that year. Tried to go to Akron, they just told me I could walk on. So I got to go to Cleveland State, and they recruited me in it was kind of a big turnover there. They were actually 17-1 the year before. So, my dad told me about that. I was like, hell no, I'm not going there. But it ended up being the only team that really gave me a shot. So I wanted to play B1, and they, like I said, they gave me a shot. So, I went there and stayed all 4 years. And, it was a great 4 years of my life.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you think you were better at baseball than soccer?
Yeah, for sure. I think if you'd ask most of my buddies, I think they would say the same.
That's crazy.
I just had a natural feel for it. And I think it's something that my baseball coach growing up, my childhood baseball coach, is someone who instilled like the details of the game into me. So to me, I just trained the right way in baseball growing up. So I feel like that just gave me the skill level and also the attention to detail in that sport, that particular sport. Everyone else, all the other sports I played, and there was a certain level to detail, but it wasn't as detailed as what he got into. So to me, I think that definitely allowed me to excel at baseball at a younger age.
Yeah. Do you think like playing all the three sports like helped you in terms of like not focusing on one, because you know how like nowadays maybe like parents have their kids focus on one sport?
Yeah. This is actually a discussion that or a topic that I think about all the time because I get asked about it a lot. And I kind of go back and forth on it. To me, I feel like when I first entered MLS, I think it helped a lot. I think baseball, the anticipation of where you're going, like each pitch, kind of feeling out, if it's a curveball, it's probably going to be hit, it's probably going to pull it a little more, fastball more at the middle. So these little, you can anticipate more. Like basketball, I think it's more of like as a center back, boxing out, rebounding, defending. That was pretty much what I was doing all the time. Like the contact of are similar compared to corner kicks and soccer and all that. So I feel like those are things that I definitely feel like helped. But nowadays, I feel like kids are just so good now at such a young age that it's almost like if you're not specializing and you're not working on your craft at 12, 13, 14, you're almost losing time. Mm-hmm. So I think going back to when I first entered the league, the MLS wasn't as technical as it is now. I don't feel like the skill level was as good as it is now. So to me, being able to just be an athlete back then allowed me to just break into the league. And then from there, I kind of figured it out and I put in the work on my technical ability to kind of, end up staying in the league and progressing through the league. But nowadays I feel like there's kids. I mean, hell, that one kid was just 14. He played last night, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so it's like if you're not super skilled at that age, and it's probably, I don't think, what I'm ultimately trying to say is I don't think people are going to be breaking into the league following the path that I took, following the path of just being an athlete.
Yeah.
Unless you're a goalie or something like that. I just feel like the skill level is too high, and you're asked to do so much at any position now. All center backs, all defenders have to be good on the ball. Everybody has to be so skilled now that it's going to be hard if you're not specializing at a young age.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And then going like after college, did you was there a point in your career that you knew you could be a pro?
Yeah, but it was later in my my college career. I think I had someone who was actually a friend of my college coach came and talked to me about going down to play in the Mexican league, in La Liga, in Liga MX. And I remember being like, wow, I never thought about taking it to the next level. Obviously I wanted to, but I never, thought about going out of the country. So then it kind of, it sparked my interest a little bit. But I wasn't really getting recruited in college. And then our goalie coach at the time started training me a little bit and said that I could probably play at the next level. He would be my agent and all that. So then I really picked up in the weight room and all the trainings and all that. And then I kind of went on a tryout tour with my dad. I went down to Carolina for the Railhawks. I don't even think they're a team anymore, but Carolina Railhawks, New England Revolution, Kansas City. Didn't get picked up on any of those teams. And then kept in touch with the crew, and just basically said, if you guys need, if you guys are scrimmaging and need numbers, I'm up in Cleveland, so just let me know. And that's ultimately how I got the invite to a scrimmage. And then 2 players banged heads, like 20 minutes in, and they said, you play left back? And I never played left back before. And I said, yeah, I play. And so they said, all right, you're in. And then played well, ended up getting an assist that game. They invited me back to another scrimmage, played well in that game. And then the call to sign with them came about 2 weeks later, I think. So it's a wild path. Yeah, wild path to get there. But yeah.
Yeah, and overall too, what has it been like just playing? You stayed home for college, and then in the pros, obviously, majority of your career was with the Columbus Crews. Like, what has that been to play in your home state?
Yeah, that's ultimately what every athlete kind of dreams of, right? Being drafted or signing with your hometown team, with the team that you grew up as a boy rooting for. So to me, it comes with a little extra pressure, obviously, to play in front of friends and family on a daily basis. But at the same time, it was such a blessing, to be able to grow up and play, like I mentioned, grow up and play for a team that I grew up supporting, loved my whole life. And then to play in front of your family, you don't realize how much that means to you and how cool that was until I think you kind of retire and look back on your career. Like I was just there last night for the game. And it still hits me in waves, I still can't believe that I got to do that for as long as I did. I was sitting there at the game last night, just thinking, man, it was unbelievable that I got to do this for as long as I did. So it was a blessing and something that I didn't think I was taking for granted, but I don't know. It's just the human element. You can never fully grasp what you're in at the time until after looking back. But I'm so grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Enjoy learning what it takes to become a better player from professional soccer players? Well, how would you like to work with professional players one-on-one? Now you can with Be Pro by Perfect Soccer. Head over to perfectsoccerskills.com/BEPRO to apply to work with our network of pro players today.
And then you also won 2 MLS Cups with them. And tell me, describe what the first championship and then the second championship.
Yeah. Man, the first one was just surreal moment. I remember hitting the ground, right after the final whistle. It was actually a corner kick. We had a corner kick about the 90th minute. We were up 3-0 at the time. So I think then it kind of, I remember looking over at Jonah Mensah, my center back partner, and like starting to celebrate. He kind of had to calm me down, like, hey, we're still playing. But yeah, the final whistle blew, and it was just, I remember being so thankful. The first thought was being so thankful for everyone that had allowed me to get to that point. All the sacrifices from my parents, my friends and family who, gave up their time, gave up, their weekends and all that to come support me. That was the first thought, which I never thought, like I never imagined that those thoughts would come into my mind, right? As the final whistle blew, but, and then also just I was thankful that I put in the work, that I sacrificed, as much as I did. And I think that would be my message to any kid or anybody like that who's, like working for this, to get to the next level, to get to a professional level. It's so worth it. And I think not everybody is fortunate to experience, a final whistle in a championship and you're winning the MLS Cup. But man, there were little times throughout my career that I was just so thankful that I put in work and I actually sacrificed those, those weekends and it was all worth it in that moment, So I think that was the biggest realization in the first one, was just gratitude for everybody, and then the gratitude for the work ethic and for sacrificing all the things that I did to allow myself to get that far. And then the second one was that was my last year, so it was good. It was more of like just a cool way to go out, right?
Yeah.
Like, what better way to go out than to win another one and for Columbus, for your home state, to win it in the new stadium and all that. And that team last year was just so special. It was just such a fun ride. Being around Wilfried and staff and all those guys. Just another thing where you don't fully realize how special that team was and how special that staff was and everything until you look back on it. But that was definitely one of the most fun years of my career, and I actually didn't even have that big of an impact, on the field. But man, what a cool year that was.
Yeah, no, that's awesome to go out on top. I got to ask you the hard question: who wins, the 2020 team or the 2023 team?
Oh man, I think what the team is doing now.
Was it a similar team, like roster wise?
No, not at all. Almost completely different. There's only one or two. Yeah, I think only I think from that team, only myself, Darlington, and Aiden Morris. If I'm leaving anybody off, I'm gonna feel terrible. But I think that's the only three people that were there. I mean, Darlington and Aiden. I would say that's those are two huge pieces. But it was almost an entirely new roster. But as much as I want, and you have to remember, I was a starter in 2020, so it takes a lot to say this, but to me, the soccer that was played in the final last year was some of the best soccer I've ever seen. And I remember getting chills watching it, saying to everybody that would listen, like, this is the best stuff I've ever, this is the best MLS team I've ever seen right here. So I would have to give my nod to the 2023 team, but hey, when that ball rolls out, you never know, man. You never know.
No, I like that answer. You were honest.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the Quincy questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. What do you think the most important skill or quality made you successful as a pro player?
How you handle failure. How I handle failure, and that doesn't necessarily mean losses. That means having a bad performance, losing your starting spot. How do you handle that? The team doesn't have success. There are multiple times where we didn't win, and I thought I played well, but the coach is just looking to change something up. He's changing a few guys in and out, and all of a sudden you're not starting the next game. Like, how do you handle that? And I don't think I handled that well every time. There's a few times early in my career where I look back and I didn't handle that well. I almost threw like a temper tantrum or something like that, where it's like, looking back on that, I'm glad I had the wherewithal, and I'm glad I had people around me to kind of make me realize, like, what's the next step from here? You can continue acting like a child and continue, throwing a little fit, but that's only going to hurt you. So, in order to keep progressing, in order to have value on a team, how do you handle that you just keep working. It's just the next day, even keel. You're going to have ups and downs, but as long as the trajectory is heading up, I think that's the biggest thing is just handling failure in general. How do you handle that as a player, as a person in life? You're going to win. You're going to win some. You're going to lose some. It's you want to stay even keel. The win shouldn't alter you, and the losses shouldn't alter you.
Mhm.
So I think that was the best. Looking back, I think that was the best quality I had.
For sure. What's the biggest mistake you think pro players are making?
Social media, placing too much emphasis on social media.
Yeah, I like that.
And I don't even think it's pretty much unavoidable at this point, because you want to build. Even at TST, I remember talking to Quincy. He's talking about building a brand, and he was joking about how he would do that. Talk to young kids about that and all of that, and so there's a place for that in life, right? There's obviously a place for that. There's, like I said, it's unavoidable. It's here. There are good qualities about it, and there's also bad qualities about it. But you can't put too much value in what's online. You have to value. You have to work on your mentality. You have to work on things outside of social media. And I feel like it's only getting worse. The pressure is only getting worse. So you could go online and you played a good game, you scored a goal, and everyone's talking positively. The very next game, you miss a chance, and everyone's piling on you. So I think the worst mistake is just placing too much emphasis and too much value in what's online. Because at the end of the day, those people in their lives are messing up, and they're doing other things as well. So it's hard. It's a hard place to navigate. There's pitfalls there, but I think soccer hopefully is trending in a direction where the mental side of the game is almost going to be just as big as the physical side. So hopefully they can kind of help with that chaos.
Yeah, I think you gotta just find a balance with the social media, especially when, like you said, like people are talking about you hitting making a goal and then not making the goal.
Absolutely.
But yeah, what I think you already kind of mentioned it, but what advice would you give to a young player?
Work on the mental side of the game. I think so many people get caught up, especially now in the physical side and the tactical side of things. But I think my whole career changed when I really dove into the mental side of things, the meditation, how to properly prepare myself, not only physically, through stretching and all of that, but it's like, how do I get prepared mentally? Because if you think about it, everybody's working on the physical side of things. But if you could capture the mental side of things and really get control of your thoughts, I think not only the world of soccer opens up, but I think the world outside of soccer opens up as well. And that to me is like, once I kind of really place emphasis on giving myself enough time, giving myself 30 minutes a day to properly prepare for the day ahead. And then I would even do 30 more to if it was game day, I would even do another 30 minutes to kind of prepare through visualization and all that. And that's when my career really took off. So to me, it would be take the mental side of the game serious, and take the mental side of the game and take the mental side of life serious, because I think it'll only help you on the field and off the field as well.
Why are you passionate about soccer?
Why am I passionate about soccer? It allowed me to experience things that I never thought I'd ever get to experience on the field, off the field. It allowed me to connect with people that I probably never would have been connected to. It allowed me to be around all different types of cultures. And ultimately it allowed me to see happiness in not only myself, but like family. I got to experience some of the highest points of my life with my family and friends. So to me, obviously there were sacrifices, but to me, it allowed me to really see the big picture in life, and what life is actually about. And I'm grateful for all the experiences, good and bad.
Definitely. These next two could be life related or soccer related. That's how you could answer them. What is something that most people think is true that you believe isn't?
Oh man. Oh wow. Most people think it's true, but I think isn't. This is a deep one here. We'll go soccer. I think I don't know if most people, but I know a good number of people think that Cristiano Ronaldo is better than Messi. And to me, I think it is. I think it is so. I think Messi's just an alien. I think he's almost playing a different sport, and it's hard for me to say because I think Cristiano is levels above pretty much everybody else too. But I just think Messi's from a different planet.
Yeah.
So I actually have that. Or you could go LeBron and Jordan. There's another one. There's the Jordan debate where everyone thinks he's the GOAT. Who's the GOAT? I also think LeBron's the GOAT as well.
Come on, you're a little biased.
Of course.
That's funny because actually at the end, that's one of my last questions is Messi or Ronaldo. So we'll get to that though. But what's something you would move forward with if you weren't scared of what would happen if things didn't go well?
Wow. It would have to be something probably financially, probably like real estate, like more real estate risk. And I really, thankfully throughout my career, towards the end of my career, I got into, trying to set myself up more financially for post-career. And that's another thing kids need to think about too.
Definitely.
But to me, just taking a risk on like a multi-family house or something like that, something financially to where, you kind of, especially now I just had a little girl. So that, it's definitely kind of off the table for me. I got different risks now, but that would probably be one that, if I wasn't so afraid of what, the negative, I would probably take more risks maybe in the real estate world.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that too. All right, you call it football or soccer?
Soccer.
I know your answer, but I got to say it anyways. Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
What's your favorite cheat meal?
Favorite cheat meal? Let's see. My girl makes some really good French toast. So to me, it would probably be French toast to start the morning. I could probably eat that every day. But yeah, she makes a bomb French toast. All
right. Who would you want to do a jersey exchange with? Like president that's currently playing, and then all time, like anybody.
I would do Messi currently, and then is Sergio Ramos playing right now? Does he have a team, or did he retire?
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna say he's retired, so I'm gonna say Sergio Ramos.
All right, I like that. All right, well, I appreciate you coming on. And could you let the listeners know where they can follow you on social media?
Yeah, Instagram, Josh13Williams. Twitter, I think it's just Josh3Williams. I went through an identity crisis with my jersey number there for a little bit. So, yeah, Instagram, it's Josh13Williams. Twitter, Josh3Williams.
Quincy Amarikwa here, and thanks again for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to share it with someone you feel will get some value from it. And if you could take a moment to leave a review of our podcast wherever you're listening and let us know who you'd like us to interview next, we'll get working on that right away. You can listen to this full episode and more at perfectsoccerskills.com/radio. That's perfectsoccerskills.com/RADIO. You can also enter to win free weekly soccer prizes, goals, balls, jerseys, player meet and greets, and more by heading over to perfectsoccerskills.com/PSTM to enter to win for free today.